Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you are. We're gonna back again reading where we left off last week with our favorite book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Anyway, last week we left on the pretty interesting stuff with the what's it called again? Don't try part of the life story of Charles Bukowski and how the fact that he doesn't care about anything in his life made him a pretty famous person in the end. We're gonna jump into the next subplot here, which is called the feedback loop from hell. Start from page 5. There's an insidious word to your brain that if you let it, it can drive you absolutely batty. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. You get anxious about confronting somebody in your life. That anxiety cripples you and you start to wondering why you're so anxious. Now you're becoming anxious about being anxious. Oh no, double anxious. Now you're anxious about your anxiety, which is causing more anxiety. Quick, where's the whiskey? Or let's say you have an anger problem. You get pissed off at the stupidest, most insane stuff you have ever had. You don't know why. And the fact that you get pissed off so easily make you pissed off too. And the fact that you get pissed off so easily start to piss off you even more. And then you get rage, you realize you're being angry all the time, make you swallow and mean person. And you hate this, you hate it so much you get angry at yourself. Now look at you, you're angry at yourself, getting angry about being angry. Freak you, well, here, have a fist. Or you could be worried about doing the right thing all the time that you become worried about doing how much you're worried. Or you feel so guilty for every mistake that you make that you begin to feel guilty about how guilty you're feeling. Or you get sad and alone, so lonely it makes you feel even more sad and alone just thinking about it. Welcome to the feedback loop from hell. Chances you've engaged to it more than a few times. Maybe you're engaged in it right now. God, I do the feedback loop all the time. I'm such a loser for doing it. I should stop. Oh my god, I feel like such a loser for calling myself like a loser. I stopped calling myself a loser. Man, I'm doing it again. See, I'm a loser. Calm down, amigo. Believe it or not, this is part of the beauty of being human. Very few animals on earth have the ability to think. Being human. Ability to think, conjunct thoughts to begin with. But we humans have the luxury of being able to have many thoughts about our thoughts. So I can think about watching Miley Cyrus video on YouTube and then immediately think about what a psycho I am for wanting to watch Miley Cyrus on YouTube. The miracle of consciousness. Now here's the problem. Our society today, through the wonder of consumer and culture, and hey look, my life is cooler than your social media, has bred a whole generation of people who believe that having this negative experience, anxiety, fear, guilt, etc. is totally not okay. I mean, if you look at your Facebook feed, everybody is there having a grand old time. Look, 8 people got married this week, and some 16 years old on TV got a Ferrari for his birthday, and another kid is making $2 billion for inventing an app that automatically deliver you more toilet paper when you run out. Meanwhile, you're stuck at home, flossing your cat, and you can't help but think your life sucks even more than you thought. The feedback loop from hell has become a borderline epidemic for making many of us overly stressed, overly neurotic, and overly self-loathing. Back in the grandpa's day, we would feel like crap and think to himself, "Jeez, why do I feel like such a coulter today?" But hey, guess what? That's just like back to shuffling, hey. But now, you just feel like crap for every like 5 minutes. You bombarded with 350 images of people totally happy and having a freaking great life, and it's impossible to not feel about like there's something wrong with you. It's this last part that we get into trouble. We feel bad about feeling bad. We feel guilty about feeling guilty. We get angry about getting angry. We get anxious about feeling anxious. What is wrong with me? So why? This is why not giving a frick is the key. This is why it's going to save the world and going to save by accepting that the world is totally effed up. And that is alright because it's always been that way and always will be. By not giving an F that you feel bad, you short circuit the feedback loop from hell. You say to yourself, I feel like crap, but who gives a fap? Who gives an F? And then as if sprinkled by magic F giving fairy dust, you stop hating yourself for feeling so bad. George Orwell said it was to see what is in front of one's nose requires a constant struggle, while the solution is to our stress and anxiety is right there in front of our noses, and we're too busy watching P and advertisement for app machine that don't work, wondering why they're not banging a hot blonde with a sick rocking back to notice. We joke online about the first world problem, but we really have become victims of our own success. Stress-related, stress-related health issue, anxiety disorder, and cases of depression have skyrocketed over the past 30 years. Despite the fact that everyone has a flat TV screen and can have their grocery delivered, our crisis is no longer material. Its existential. It's spiritual. We have no so much freaking stuff and so many opportunities that we don't even know what to give a FM about anymore. Because there's an infinite amount of things that we can see or do now. There's also an infinite number of ways we can discover that we don't measure up, that we're not good enough, and things aren't as great as they could be. And this rips us apart inside. Because here's the thing that is wrong with all the how to be happy crap that we've been shared at a million times on the Facebook in the past few years. Here's what nobody realized about all of this crap, and I quote: the desire for more positive experience itself is a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one negative experience itself is a positive experience. This is a total mind F, so I'll give you a minute to unpretzel your brain and maybe read that again. Wanting positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting negative experience is a positive experience. It's what the philosopher Alan Watts used to refer as the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue the feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become. As pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack in the first place. The more you desperate want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. The more you desperately want to be sexy and desired, the uglier you become to yourself. Regardless of your actual physical appearance, the more you desperately want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. The more you want to become spiritually enlightened, the more self-centered and shallow you become trying to get there. It's like this one time I trip on the acid and feel like the more I walk toward the house, the farther away the house got from me. And yes, I just used my LSD hallucination to make a philosophical point about happiness. No F given. As the existential philosopher Albert Camus said, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't on LSD at the time, you will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Or, to put it simply, don't try. Now, I know you're saying, Mark, this is making my nipples hard, but what about Camaro? I've been saving for about... What about the beach day body I've been starving myself for? After all, I paid a lot of money for that ad machine. Now what about the big house on the lake I've been dreaming of? It's like if I stop giving a F about those things, well, I'll never achieve anything. I don't want that to happen, do I? So glad you asked. Ever notice that sometimes when you care less about something, you do better at it? Notice how it's often that the person who is least invested in success is something actually end up achieving it? And I notice how sometimes when you stop giving an F, everything seems to fall into place. What's with that? Well, that's interesting. About the backward law, it's called backwards for a reason. Not giving an F works in reverse. If pursuing a positive is a negative, then pursuing the negative generates the positive. The pain you pursue in gym results in better all-around health and energy. The failure in business are what led to better understanding of what necessary to be successful. Being open about your insecurity paradoxically make you more confident and charismatic around others. The pain of honest confrontation is what generates greatest trust and respect in your relationship. Suffers through your fears and anxiety is what allow you to build up courage and perseverance. Seriously, I could keep going, but you get the point. Everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, to avoid it, or question it or silence it only backfires. The avoidance is suffering, is a form of suffering. The avoidance of struggle is struggle. The denial is of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful itself is a form of shame. Pain is an inextricable thread of fabric of life, and to hear it out, it's not only impossible, but destructive. Attempting to tear it out, unravel everything else with it, try to avoid pain is to give too many F about pain. In contrast, if you're able to not give a F about pain, you become unstoppable. In life, I have given many F about many things. I have also not given an F about many things. And like the road not taken, it was F that was given that made all the difference. Chances are you know somebody in your life who at one time or another did not give a F and then went to accomplish amazing feats. Perhaps there was time in your life when you simply did not give an F and excelled at some extraordinary hates. For myself, I quit in my job and finance after only 6 weeks start to internet business rank pretty high up. There in my own didn't give a F halfway. Same with deciding to sell most of my profit possession to move to South America. F given? None. Just went and did it. This moment of non-effery are the moment that most define our life. The major switch in career, a spontaneous choice to drop out of college and join the rock band. The decision to finally dump that deadbeat boyfriend whom you caught wearing your pantyhose few too many times. To not give a F about to stare down the life's most terrifying and difficult challenges and it still take action. While not giving an F may seem simple on the surface, it's a whole new bag of burritos under the hood. I don't even know what the sentence means, but I don't give an F. A bag of burritos is so awesome, so let's just go with it. Most of us struggle throughout our life by giving way too many F in situations where F does not deserve to be given. We give too many F about the rude gas station attendant who gave us our change in nickel. We give too many F about the show we like was cancelled TV. We give too many F when our coworkers don't bother asking us about our awesome weekend. Meanwhile, our credit cards are maxed out, our dog hates us, and Junior is snorting mad in the bathroom. Yet, we're getting pissed about nickels and everybody loves Raymond. Look, this is obvious. This is how it works. You're gonna die one day. I know that's kind of obvious, but I just want to remind you in case you've forgotten. And you and everyone you know are going to be dead soon, and a short amount of time between here and there, and you have a limited amount of time to F to give. Very few in fact. And if you go around giving F about everything and everyone without conscious thoughts of choice, well, you're going to get F. There's this subtle art of not giving an F, and to the concept may sound ridiculous. I may sound like an asshole. Sorry. What I'm talking about here is essentially learning how to focus and prioritize your thoughts effectively. How to pick and choose what matters to you and what does not matter, based on finally on personal values. This is incredibly difficult and it takes lifetime of practice and discipline to achieve. And you will regularly fail, but it perhaps the most worthy struggle one can undertake in one's life. It is perhaps the only struggle in one life. Because when you give too many F, when you give up F about everyone and everything, you will feel that you're perpetually entitled to be comfortable and happy all the times. That everything is supposed to be just exactly the effing way you want to be. This is sickness and it will eat your life. You will see every adversity and injustice and every challenge as a failure, every inconvenience as a personal slight, every disagreement as a betrayal. You will be confined of your own petty skull-sized hell burning with entitlement and bluster. Running circle around your very own personal feedback loop from hell in constant motion yet arriving nowhere. So I guess that's all for today's video. It was pretty entertaining and genuinely moving. What am I saying? Moving make you motivate me. Oh my god. Well, I guess that's all for today's video. See you next week. Peace.